Sunday night's game one loss to the Connecticut Sun saw Candace Parker put together one of the best playoff performances of her illustrious and legendary career. She finished with 19 points, 18 rebounds, 6 blocks, 4 steals, and 5 assists. Specifically with the blocks and steals, 6 and 4 making for 10. That was the most stocks in any game for any player this season. Just speaking to the level of activity that she was putting forth defensively. She was just in the middle of everything. She said nah a whole lot. And I just want to break down a handful of plays from this performance of hers. So without further ado, let's get to it. Game one, Candace Parker. All right, so the first play here, they're gonna flow defensively. Looking at Connecticut, they're gonna flow into an empty corner pick and roll after some pistol action. They got Chicago action here. It's gonna flow into a rescreen, and you see Courtney Williams gonna get this bucket here. But I want to look at something that was definitely changed as the game progressed. This was a very early possession, if not like maybe the second or third offensive possession for the Sun. So as we flow over to the Courtney Williams part of it, we'll see here's a rescreen. Now watch Candace specifically. So you see, you could already tell that Courtney Williams has Sluty beat as she turns the corner. So as the rim protector here, you want to kind of show a little earlier in anticipation because you're already seeing that, your primary defender at the point of attack here is already beat. Williams already has her shoulders past Sluty, so I would like to have seen Candace got over a little bit earlier. Now it looks like she's still actually, and I couldn't tell this in the arena, but it still looks like she actually got a fingertip on this ball, as you can kind of see the spin redirect as it kisses off the glass and eventually falls down. And I know she probably wanted to bait Courtney into trying to get to the basket a little bit more as well, but I would have personally liked to see her take those initial steps in pre-rotating, especially with Allie already kind of sinking in behind her. And not really expecting Courtney Williams to make a pass after she's turned downhill right here. I would just like to see Candace get there earlier, which she most definitely did the rest of the way. So just a little early read and react from the defensive end, and she definitely cleaned up. All right, transitioning into this next play here. This is arguably the most dynamic part of what she brings to the Chicago Sky, specifically in the open floor. So it's well known that she's the best point forward that the WNBA has ever seen, and arguably the best point forward that the game of basketball has ever seen. And the thing is, like she's always mentioned to me throughout the season that her rebounding is maybe her most valuable asset to the team. And the thing with that rebounding, specifically on the defensive end, is that when she's the one that's grabbing boards, the way they flow in the transition with so much pace and how dynamic their transition looks become when she's the one that grabs the rebounds is second to none across the entire W. And you can see here after this rebound, it's literally just one dribble. Her head's already up. She's flying. She's finding somebody that's flying ahead in transition to fill a lane. And here she throws an absolute dime, splitting DeWanna Bonner and Courtney Williams in transition to hit Kalia Copper. Look at this pass. The way it bounces and where it bounces off the floor, when Kai picks it up, it's almost like she's picking up a baton in a relay race. Hits her right in the perfect spot, right in stride, layup. Easy money. All right, this next play here, the Sky going to flow into their motion weak. So as Courtney Vandersloot loops through with the through cut, we're going to see a little cross screen from Allie Quigley. And this is a part where they're going to end up scoring on this, but you see that slight hesitation there. This is something that I would have liked, and what I'm expecting to see an adjustment between Candace Parker as well as Emma Meesseman in the game too, with the two on the ball aggressive point of the screen defense that the Sun are putting forth, especially with this being, as you look at the bottom right corner of the screen being in an empty corner. I would like for them, specifically Emma and Candace, and even Azare, as the release valves out of these 2-on scenarios, like look at this catch and look at the lane. Like, of course, it's paused here and all the bodies aren't moving. But I would just like for all of the front court pieces for the Sky to look at the basket in these short roll scenarios right away off the catch and even just put their head down and take at least one dribble to threaten the defense and then get them into the next rotation to then generate the next advantage, whether that's them putting up soft touch floaters in this little area before they get to the restricted area, getting all the way to the basket, which I'm almost positive Candace could have did if she wasn't looking weak side here, or even stop and just pop like right here. She could take a one dribble pull up and get to the nail around the free throw line area, and that's money. But you kind of see here she stagnates a little bit and just reading, and she's not really looking to score on the catch here, which is understandable because it's early in the game. She's still trying to get a feel for the defense and everything. And then she kind of gives Alyssa Thomas a move like, oh, wow, that lane was there. I should have took it a little earlier. They do end up getting something out of nothing here as they go into a rescreen. Again, she's hitting the short roll. This time they get the rotation early from the low help, being Jonquel Jones here. Great cut from Emma Mieseman as Jonquel leaves her. On the baseline, Candace throws a good pass, but they get good help from Bonner. It ends up coming back out to Candace, and again, late in the shot clock, she gives a nice, astute pump fake to get Alyssa Thomas off her feet, and then that allows her to load without having to worry about a contest too much. Good job making something out of nothing, but I would definitely like to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing the Sky frontcourt pieces take advantage of that short roll area in game two, especially early on to kind of loosen up the defensive coverage and get things flowing offensively. All right, this next play here, we're going to let it kind of flow through. So here we got Kai at the point of attack here with Dewana Bonner. And again, remember the first play this is a similar scenario. It's less activity offensively, and it's more of a straight line drive. Same scenario nonetheless. Kai does a good job containing Dewana Bonner. She gets good contact here, and then does a great job taking a good angle to meet her at the block. But look at Candace. She's rotating a little earlier than she did on the Courtney Williams scenario, and she's already in position. Again, Kai does a great job doing half of it and staying in there and containing the ball. And then Candace is able to just come over and clean it up with a great swat and then play in the transition. All right, this next play here, flowing into my favorite half-court set from the Sky and in basketball in general. They're going 77, which is a double drag, and then it's going to flow into Spain. You see the Spain dynamic of it here with Allie Quigley popping up from the bottom portion of the screen. Setting up Spain screen for Emma Mieseman, but Sluty cuts this off early. She ends up swinging it back to Candace, and then that flows into an empty corner pick and roll between Kai and Candace. Nothing really happens there. They don't really generate too much of a rotation from the defense. It swings back to Kai, and then it's going to flow into a post-up. And in this position, again, great spacing. They empty out the entire corner for Candace, and Candace catches it at an advantageous spot, allowing for her to work in isolation and in plenty of space without having to worry about a double team. And if it does come, there's enough space to where there's too much real estate for the defense to send a double team to. So she has enough time to read and react should it come. And they also allow her to take multiple dribbles. If you allow Candace Parker to take this many dribbles in a post, it's going to be a bucket every single time. She's going to find a shot that she can hit, and she's going to finish it with a high percentage. And again, here, like I said, it's too much space from Connecticut, and this is Candace Parker against Brianna Jones, a very solid defender in the post. But again, when you get Candace Parker in space, and she baits her with the two dribbles inside to get that weight leaning to that inside shoulder of Candace, and then she spins off of that, boom. You can already see Brianna Jones, her weight is shifted to that inside foot, while Candace is redirecting and spinning towards the baseline. That's how the separation is created. Again, decent defense still. She gets a good contest up with two hands. But again, once you step into that offense with Candace Parker, 9 times out of 10, especially with no double team coming, that's going to be money. All right, the next play here, they flew into their Spain set again. This time it was traditional Spain. Without the double drag, it was just a single screen followed by the Spain screen. They hit Candace on the dive, and then Candace is able to get a little mid-post isolation here as you see Emma clear out to the corner to give her a little bit more space. Candace decides to just go, boom, right away to the middle of the floor because there's space. Keeps Thomas on her shoulder, and then look at the subtle, very, very subtle offhand movement to create that separation, and then the balance into the 1-2 as she swings that left leg around to square her shoulders up to the basket. And it's just a beautiful shot from Candace here. Great balance, great touch, great fundamentals, great attention to detail. even through the swipe away with the hands to create that separation, as you can see right there. And then the subtle fade, great touch. All right, this next play here, this guy on defense, you're gonna kind of let it flow through some. So the Sun like to flow into a lot of empty corner and empty side pick and roll action, just to kind of distance players away from space and away from pressure from the defense, and kind of allow them to play with a little more real estate without having to worry about help defense. So here they flow into an empty corner. They get a late switch from the sky. And after the late switch, this is the important thing here. You can look at Candace Parker as she rotates over as the screen action is happening. She's already pointing here, letting Kyle know, okay, you did a good job with the late switch. Now go ahead and kick out. And she kicks Kyle to the weak side to take over for Jonquel Jones. Now Jonquel ends up getting good positioning on this duck end, and she does a good job kind of walling off and sealing off Candace to allow this pass to go baseline from DeWanna Bonner, which is an excellent pass thrown right on the money. Like, look at where this pass is. Even through the pass contest from Emma Meeseman, DeWanna Bonner gets it right to JJ's hand. This is a beautiful entry pass. But look at Candace here. Doesn't give up on the play. She concedes the positioning. I would like to see her get a little bit lower as she often does, and kind of being able to get a better contest on this catch. Nonetheless, she makes up for it with a great block. And then again, when she's the one that's causing these events to happen defensively, and then she's the one that's initiating the break, look at the pace. Even with the live dribble, they might cut it off once. She's still generating so much pace, and she's able to just figure things out. Like, this is not really scripted. Things didn't go the way she expected them to, and she was just kind of flowing in space. But she's a walking advantage, and she's able to just make something out of nothing here, just continuing with the play to create yet another sequence in the game full of sequences from her. All right, this next play, again, they're on defense here. It was empty corner initially, and then the Sun are going to swing it second side and flow into some more pistol action against Chicago, being a down screen to a DHO. Look at the subtleties with Candace Parker. So we all know about the Sky's aggressive pick and roll defense that they typically run with hedging, hedging and trapping, hedging and recovering, soft hedging, all of these things at the level of the screen. You can see Candace Parker here at the elbow here at the top of the screen. She's in a short drop. But look at how she plays her short drop. She's just not there taking up real estate. Look at this jab at Courtney Williams to give her something else to think about. You can see the subtle hesitation here from Courtney as she tries to figure out exactly what Candace Parker is doing. And Candace is all she's doing is just buying time for Courtney Vandersloot, who's trailing here, to flow over this screen with her inside out footwork, or her outside in footwork, excuse me, and just play that trailer and chaser role to kind of get back into the rear view to just be a nuisance here for Courtney Williams. So again, this is all set up by Candace Parker in the short drop, but playing in the short drop with great activity. The subtle jab, you see the reaction from Williams with kind of a hesitation and then an in and out of sorts. That kind of stagnates the flow of that entire quick hitter. Again, all caused by Candace. And then look at her. She doesn't give up on the play. She's only done half of the job by helping to make Courtney Williams pick up her dribble. She then gets into the passing lane, and then she's able to get this steal here with great activity, splitting her between her responsibility and the ball, and then hits the hit ahead, and then they're off to the races. All right, this next play here, they're back on offense now. We're going to let it kind of flow through. As you can see here, they flow into a mid-post touch again for Candace. And then you can see just the patience. Again, she's not going too quick because the spacing is not quite there yet. It's a pass and screen away from Rebecca Gardner, which is smart to kind of get Alyssa Thomas's back turned to the action as Alyssa Thomas kind of anticipates what's going on. But again, Candace, being who she is, and with the decent enough spacing that the Sky give her to really empty out the corner for her to get to her baseline pull-ups and things of that nature and turnarounds, she does a great job here with DeWanna Bonner, knowing that DeWanna doesn't necessarily want to play with too much contact, and she want to just kind of use her length more than anything else against Candace, because of course Candace outweighs her. So Candace does a great job baiting her with two dribbles to the inside, gets more positioning in the paint off the catch, and then does an excellent job spinning back to the baseline and getting over that shoulder for a soft touch with the left hand. Again, her balance, her IQ, her patience, her footwork is exquisite, and the touch off the glass is second to none with the left hand. Just great great post play, great post control, great job holding her spot to get to the catch in the advantageous spot just above the block, and then she finishes the job. All right, here's this guy on defense, and again, it's just activity from Candace. She does a great job on this baseline drive, just getting a hand in there, and then just not stopping the play as she continues to flow to the next action. Yes, they don't get the steal off of this deflection, but the play is not over. There's still time on the shot clock, and she does a great job here, completely walling off the baseline from Courtney Williams. One of the most fundamental things, especially for front court pieces when they're going against mismatches, is for them to keep their foot down and put that foot on the baseline and completely cut off that space. And that's exactly what she does here. All right, the Sky on defense again here. Great hedging out from Emma Meeseman to stagnate. Odyssey Sims flow into trying to get downhill. And then just watch Candace Parker here as she goes over. And look at the reach that she uses. She's not right in the body of Sims. She's not really even all that close to Sims right here. But just a great timing, great reach, and a great angle to reach at. And she's able to get her hand on this. And again, when she's causing events and she's able to start things defensively and flow into things for the transition offense, they generally get good things to happen. And look at this pass here. Speaking of the good things that typically happen. Okay. Courtney Vandersloot did not hit this shot. She wasn't feeling herself all that much. But it's the fact that this pass from Candace Parker is just like look at the timing that she throws it with, and then the pace and the location that she puts it at for Courtney Vandersloot to get as good of a look as she possibly can off of this. The timing that she throws this pass with, it catches Courtney Williams, who's guarding Courtney Vandersloot on the weak side here. It catches her off guard so much that she doesn't even see the pass happen. And she doesn't even have a chance to react to it. Like, watch Courtney Williams here. She's at the elbow right here, at the opposite elbow of Candace Parker. Sluty sinks to the corner, and Williams doesn't even have time to react. It's just so well timed, and just the overall versatility and skill that Candace Parker brings to the game is second to none. It really is, especially from the front court. And again, as we see her again on defense here, this was the very next play here as they after the air ball from Sloot that flowed into transition defense, stagnated them some, and then she was able to get a hand on this entry pass here, which is something that she does as well as any other front court player that's not named Emma Meeseman. And just contesting passes, whether it's in a post, whether it's at the dome, whether it's the mid post, any place on the floor where her matchup is catching the ball, 9 times out of 10 she's contesting that catch to either stagnate the rhythm and flow of the action that's to come from it, or to generally get a deflection and potentially get a steal off of it like she does here. And then again, when she's the one initiating things, especially defensively, that allows for her to tap into maybe her most important dynamic, which is initiating out of transition. She gets the stop, gets the ball, and then it's no dribble this time. It's just one step and then it's into the outlet pass. And nobody else in the W is making as great of an outlet pass or hit ahead pass as this one right here from Candace Parker. Look at the location that she puts this on. On time, on target, right in stride for Kalia Copper. She doesn't have to break stride at all. Just beautiful basketball. And then you can see it even more here. Look at the location of this pass. This is unreal. Unreal. All in the flow of the game. All right, so here the Sky are going to flow into something that they haven't done all that much this in the regular season at least, but as of course you get to the playoffs, you start getting more deep into your playbook. So this is a traditional action for them to flow into with the Iverson cut from Kalia Copper. They're gonna pitch it into the post for Emma Meeseman. And this is what I've been talking about all season with Allie Quigley being such a stealthy screener. She's one of the better screeners in the W in general, and she does it a lot off of the element of surprise. So of course the ball's on the weak side here, the second side, and Alyssa Thomas isn't even looking to see where Allie Quigley is, as she kind of like meanders around on the baseline as Kai switches to the opposite side. And look at this kind of like rip/flare screen that she sets for Candace Parker, and look at the Look at the distance that it's already creating. Courtney Williams isn't expecting her to set a screen. Courtney Williams is expecting Candace to set a screen. So she's kind of getting ready to trail. And then she's like, oh, no, she's not receiving the screen, she's setting the screen. And then of course Candace gets the separation needed as she floats out and knocks down this three. Just beautiful, beautiful basketball, beautiful counters to their sets to catch them off guard and get a good look, and then Candace leaves it to knock it down. All right, here we're gonna see Candace again in the post with Alyssa Thomas. She does a good job kind of gapping her. She knows she's not gonna be taking a shot here, or even like turning and facing and shoot or anything of that nature. So she gives her just enough space to where she can slide and cut off the angle, and that's exactly what she does. Just stays solid, gets a good contest, again gets the rebound, and then again when she's initiating things, the flow is just different. The pace is just different. Now they're not gonna get anything initially out of this transition, and then into the second break. That probably should have been a foul there for Kalia Copper, but the whistles were being swallowed all night. It flows into another opportunity for Candace, and look what she does with it. Excellent play. Just staying composed. Things were getting very chippy. Things were very physical in this game, but she kept her composure and then some. She didn't do too much at any point in this game. Good job of baiting Alyssa Thomas to get out more on this closeout. She does step a little bit short here on her, but it's all good because Candace does a good job of countering. Hits her with that inside shoulder, then spins off of that, and then it keeps her feel as she spins back, understanding that Brianna Jones is probably going to come with help from the weak corner, from the strong corner here. That's exactly what happens, and she does a great job just drawing to and then reacting out of that with a good pass to Emma Meeseman to knock down the midi. Just great play from Candace Parker. All right, so here again it's late clock, so they have to throw up a shot on goal just to get the shot off and not take the shot clock violation. Again, and just look at the little things here. Nothing else is going to happen after this, but just the extra efforts, the winning efforts here from Candace Parker to get this possession here. Like the Sky were getting out rebounded, and it kind of felt uneasy at times whenever shots went up because we weren't sure. But look at the attention to detail here. There's essentially four Sky players here in the paint to get this rebound, and Candace does a great job making sure they secure it with that extra jump, the extra reach, the extra effort, and then they're off to the races. And then she makes an excellent pass to Emma Meeseman. Again, they don't score here, but they get an excellent look because it's Candace Parker that's initiating everything off the rebound. They're flowing into the transition segment. She does a great job with patience, and then hits Emma Meeseman, who she understands and knows can make that +1. And again, this is a shot that 9 times out of 10, Allie Quigley's going to knock down. She doesn't hit it here, but it's the fact that the quality of shot that they get when Candace Parker is initiating breaks. It's almost always an extremely clean look that they're getting, whether it's her or someone else. Now here, they're back on offense in the half court. They're going with their dive pick and roll action. So essentially the dive pick and roll is the point guard's going to dribble at one of the two players at the elbows. The player that she dribbles at is going to typically go to the block and then just kind of sit there and wait out to see what happens next. But lately the Sky have been clearing that player that's dribbled at out to the weak side corner. And that's exactly what Candace Parker is going to do here. Allie Quigley. Courtney Vandersloot comes off the screen from Emma Meeseman. And you see the reason why they're having them clear out to that weak corner is because when Sluty comes off of this pick and roll, the low helper is going to be kind of standing there to see what's going on, even with John Coyle Jones being in the drop there. And you see it makes Brianna Jones stop in her tracks for a split second. And that opens up Candace Parker to, if she wanted to elect to take this three, she definitely could because the separation is there. I don't think she had her feet set yet, so she didn't really want to launch that one because she wasn't on balance. But look at this as they flow into the next action. Initially, it looks like it's going to be an isolation, and then Allie Quigley comes over again, like she always does, playing advantage basketball. She sets a screen, and this is Candace Parker. This is your 4 or your 5, whichever one you want to call it, initiating in pick and roll. And look at this pass that she puts on Allie. Again, 9 times out of 10, again, this is another shot, a soft touch shot that we've seen Allie Quigley hit a million times before. She doesn't hit this one, but look at this pass from Candace Parker. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. She was in such a rhythm and flow this game. All right, next we're going to get great activity above the screen, way above the level of the screen here from Ali and Emma Mieseman. They get a deflection, they get a picked up dribble, ends up swinging to the weak side corner. Wide open shot for Courtney Williams. She doesn't make it, but again, it's the extra efforts from Candace Parker. There's no way she's in position to grab this rebound as Brianna Jones gets a good body on her, arguably the best offensive rebounder in the W. But just the extra effort in using her length with Candace Parker to just back tap it and get it out into space and just play her chances from there, rather than conceding the position and conceding the rebound, and that ends up getting a possession for the Sky. All right, and here they kind of went with some pick and roll action, and of course they're putting two on. So Emma Mieseman does a great job flashing to the dome to try to get the high-low look to Candace Parker after the roll. Brianna Jones does a great job in front of the post after that, as you can see here. And then they end up swinging it around to Candace. She's not really in position to score or anything like that as they kind of transition into the late clock portion of this offensive possession. But a great job of just clearing through from Kai. And the angle, like even live in the arena, it did not look like this angle was there. So I'm glad I'm able to see the broadcast portion of it here. But look at this pass. This is unbelievable. This angle is really not there, but the timing with which she uses as Jonquel Jones is out of position, she doesn't flip her hips. And I think that's what Candace reads here, especially with Kalia Copper being the one that's running past her. And just puts it on time, on target, generates an advantage, and gets free throws out of that for Kai. And then again, this angle here just helps you kind of see it a little bit more. This pass is unbelievable. All right, here is a great offensive rebound on the second of those two free throw shots from Kalia Copper. And he's going to kind of floor around. The Sun ended up double teaming in the corner here. Emma Mieseman does a great job paying attention as always. She spaces out to be the release valve, and now they're playing advantage basketball. They're going to get a great cut from Kai, and I'll get back to that cut from Kai in a second, but Emma Mieseman's IQ, knowing that there's two on that strong side, and if she swings it quickly, that they're going to be out of position. She does a great job getting it over to Sluty, and Sluty does a great job getting it over to Candace. Now, why is Candace so open? It's because the general dynamics of the Sky just meshing all together in one play here. From Allie Quigley's IQ to get it out quick, Emma Mieseman's IQ to flash, to be that release valve to get into the next play. Kai's IQ and dynamic as a cutter